友人の剣をくれ。
Hey guys, so this is the time I almost died. Story time. Now, if you guys have seen my video about, we should talk, it explains majority of the things I'm going to be changing on my channel, but let's just dive into this story time. Now, what would happen is, this is the time I would almost, or I would have died if I didn't do something differently. But, let's just dive into the story and the plot, pretty much the story and where it took place. Now, it was about when I was 10 years old, and my parents, for some reason, wanted me to get out of the house. I didn't know why they wanted me to get out of the house. Sorry, they didn't want me to get out of the house. Probably because I was playing too much Halo or something like that. I had an Xbox 360 at the time, and I was just playing it all the freaking time, bro. And I don't have it anymore. I have a Switch now, but I wish I kept it because I gave it to my sister. She went overseas to the Air Force. Gave it to her so she could play DVDs and whatnot because she didn't have, any type of system or anything like that. So, yeah, but I think her house put it and she sold the thing. So I don't even know where it is. I asked for it back after she moved into her next house. She said she sold it. Like, that's so, man. But other than that, parents sent me to a summer camp to get me out of the house. Now, this summer camp, I can you not, was broken down. I can you not. And it was sightings that a lot of bears and big mammoth of creatures. But from my little, 10-year-old mind, I was begging my parents not to bring me there. But nonetheless, they brought me there anyways. So I packed myself, said goodbye to my mom and my mom, dad, and my sisters, and I dipped. I went there, I made some friends, and the first couple weeks were pretty nice until, well, we have certain periods or certain areas where you signed up in the summer camp. I signed up for the gym summer camp or the athleticism, and well, we started doing it. So what would happen is, well, me and a couple other kids were grouped up against each other against another group of kids to basically be plopped into a random part of the forest after we were blindfolded and put into a type of jeep, as a counselor would have drove us around and would have just stopped out of nowhere, as they would have told us to, well, go back or find your way back, as when midnight strikes, they'll come back out here to try to find you. And I was confused because only 11, 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds, and maybe some 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds were out there with me. And I was mainly grouped up with the younger kids. And there was no kids under 9. So 10 was the very first age or the youngest age you could be to enter that summer camp. They told us you had to find your way back. And I was just bombarded with questions from other kids saying that, have you been here before? Is this illegal? And everybody was going crazy. Me personally, I was about to have a nervous breakdown. But one of these other kids, some sort of a leader, I guess, she said to follow him. And we spent at least another solid 1 hour following him in a circle. 5 other kids in my group noticed that we passed the same stick in the mud 15 times. I can you not. Everybody was pissed off at him. So we told him to sit his booty back in the line as we went and followed another kid. I think a 15-year-old kid. You had to be 16 or 17 to be a counselor there, but I think that's the age gap you had to be a counselor there. But he was 15, and the counselor that dropped us off there was his older brother. So he tried to call his older brother, but his older brother wanted to follow the rules, so he didn't call him back. So he just left him on red. So what would happen is, well, everybody started to follow this little younger kid, because the first kid that made us, walk around was about 6. Well, it was turning 16 that day. It was his birthday. But we started to move and just walk around, eventually us finding a nearby camp area. But it was a decoy camp. And for some cruel, twisted way, the counselors made fake fires around in the night to draw people to false and not real safe havens. So a lot of people's, hopes and dreams were crushed. Now, we had a radio with us for some reason. The oldest kid in the group had a radio that was contacted with or hooked up to the counselor's radio, as they would say that, well, they would give you timestamps or pretty much team names of people that have already made it there. And we were the last two people out there, the last two groups. What happened is, well, we would start to panic a little bit, us running around, and eventually us getting split up, as about 4 other kids would have walked the other way, and the next 2, me, older kid I was talking about earlier. So what would happen is, well, we would have started to walk around, just walking randomly. And at this point, when they noticed, and like after we went back, they showed us like a map of the area. So I noticed that we were heading the other way. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but when, they showed us the map, after the whole, campfires trip or whatnot, the scavenger find your way back thing, they pointed out to us that the whole time we were going the opposite way. So we weren't even getting close. So they started to walk around. Now, the counselors had a great idea that they didn't show to us, or they didn't tell us, that if you got too far away from the campsite, another counselor, the biggest counselor, the strongest one, would have chased you down and beat you, bro. Not beat you, but like push you down and say you're out or something. Because it was a game. I didn't mention earlier, but it was a game that, we had to follow. And we had to find our way back. But also we had to avoid, creatures on top of that because it's a forest. And we also had to avoid the counselors from catching us too far away from the path we had to follow to get back. So everybody was just confused. Now me, me, I'm cool, collected, I'm calm. I definitely wasn't crying and pissing my pants. I was definitely not doing that. But let's just say, for instance, I was doing some very, very kiddie stuff. Now, the other, older kid with me told me to calm down, to just chill out. As we kept on walking into the darker abyss, as we started to notice that the other part of our group that was split up, they already found their way, and we were in the opposite direction of them. So we started to turn back. And out of nowhere, we heard this deafening roar, or pretty much growl, as I had flooding images in my mind of bears, coyotes, wolves, anything that could kill me in a forest. I started to panic. Now, looked over to the older kid. He was gone. He dipped, bro. He was gone, man. He was gone. He just dipped. He wasn't even there. I heard his footsteps. He was gone. I didn't even see him run away. He was just gone. He left me in the dark forest. A 10-year-old kid in a dark forest when he heard something roar in the distance. And he booked it. He left me behind in the dust. And obviously, if you're black and you see somebody else running their booty off and they just left you, you obviously run after them or try to follow them. Or try to get out of the same area they ran away from. So I booked it as well. I started heading the other direction. I went in the same area or direction of him, but we split up on left to right. So I went left, he went right. Because I noticed his red jacket in the distance through the bushes and trees. And it was dark, mind you. It was dark at night at this time. It was about like 4 hours? Nah, 2 hours away from midnight. So we started to book it. We started to run. Eventually, we would have gotten to a nearby camp area. And not the main camp, but the camp area where, it's like I think a shed with like farming or like climbing tools. Now we went in there and hid there as we heard footsteps. And not footsteps, I mean like crawling or bare footsteps, basically bare footsteps. As we started to look and peep through the, little cracks that were in the shed, we started to see like a big behemoth type of, animal-like thing. And then we thought it was a bear. Some of us, we thought it was bear. And yeah, it was a bear. So we started to sneakily book out of the back area of the, the shed. Freak. And we started to book out of the back area of the shed as we started to walk away quietly. But out of nowhere, this bear noticed us. And just on instinct. Now, we didn't see the bear notice us. We just heard the bear, like, wash over us. And mind you, we didn't know it was a bear. We just saw some of its body parts. We don't know for sure it's a bear. So, what I did is I booked it. But I can you not, I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I can you not. This older kid grabbed me by the shoulder and choked me to the ground. And he left me, bro. He grabbed my shoulder. He chucked me to the ground. As him, he probably knew it was a bear. So if you thought a bear was chasing you, you would have sacrificed a 10-year-old kid and booked it? You going straight to hell, bro. I was so pissed. I was so pissed. But I was mainly scared of that moment. Because he grabbed me. He was a 15-year-old boy. He grabbed me and chucked me to the ground and booked it in the forest, bro. And I was shocked. And I was on the ground in pure horror because I knew. Because we were about to run. That bear saw us. And I'm on the ground. So I don't even have any leverage to get back up and run. I didn't even have a chance to begin with. You're trying to outrace a bear. And I'm on the ground. And that bear is at least 7 feet away from me. I'm not getting away. I'm dead. So I look up. And to my horror, and also relief, it was a moose. So the whole time, we were booking it, wasting oxygen, and just going straight forwards all around the forest. But it was a moose chasing us. And the moose walked past me. And like sniffed me, like, I don't know, like he sniffed me. And then like he snotted on me. Not snotted on me like it. You know how your dog sniffs you and like he pouts or whatnot? Like his nostrils like sniff out. I can't know. I don't know what it's called, but basically the moose walks off and I'm on the ground terrified. But yeah, because when I saw the moose, it was big in person. Mooses are way bigger in person. He was like at least 7 feet. So I got up and I just walked off. As basically I got back to the camp and the kid that pushed me, well, ambulance showed up, blah, blah, blah. The kid that pushed me, he actually broke his leg on the way there because he fell in a ditch. But yeah, that's what he gets. For throwing a 10-year-old boy on the ground when he thought it was a bear chasing him. So I was pissed off. But we switch a couple of weeks later and, pretty much the camp does okay. I leave. I never go back. I tell my parents the same story. I never go back. And that's where the story ends off, for me at least. So, yeah. Moral of the story, don't trust older kids. And moral of the story, do not assume that everything you see in the wild is out to kill you. It may be, but for me, the assumption that a bear was chasing us led us to a shed where I probably got some tetanus because I literally because I cut my thumb on this rusty needle on the shed door. It was rusty, man. Like it was in the ocean for about thousands of years, bro. Like it was rusty, bro. It looked like it was the it looked like it was the personification of just straight up tetanus. Like, but I got some antibiotics or whatnot. I think the doctor said I needed a tetanus shot. I think I got a tetanus shot like a month later, but nothing really happened because like it was like a cut, but it wasn't like a deep cut, but it was pretty nasty, needle. But whatever. So moral of the story: don't trust older kids and stay yourself. And this is the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like, subscribe, and as always, guys, have a blessed day. I hate that kid.